There are currently 92 brawlers in Brawl Stars, but of them, 35 have their face, or at least some part of their identity, covered. So today, we're gonna take a look at the 25 of these that have had their faces revealed so far. Starting with a not-so-well-hidden one, Grom. During his release, Supercell published this animation where we can see under the red mask, Grom is a blonde man with short hair. Also, many scars in his face with a hint of trauma. Maybe something related to children? Like Anita, who was revealed in the Star Park CCTV campaign that happened a little while ago, where we can see how together with her brother Leon, they were trying to steal candy from Mandy, long before they were transformed into brawlers. In those recordings, we can clearly see Anita's face with two pigtails, big eyes, as well as her mouth. In the same footage, we can also see Leon's face looking very similar to his sister's, but with shorter and flatter hair. And another brawler that was revealed during this Star Park CCTV fiasco is Poco, who doesn't usually have a mask or anything, but we can still see what he looked like back when he was still alive, with his brown skin, large eyes, and most notably, medium-length hair, which kind of reminds me of Miguel from Coco. Now, have you ever wondered what Dynamite would look like without all that facial hair? Me neither, but thanks to Brawl Stars' Twitter account, we can see it anyway, which is very cursed. But definitely not as cursed as Doug, who just hides his eyes with a hat. Many players believe that his nostrils are his eyes, but if you pay close attention to his cry pin, you can see the tear is coming from underneath his hat, which proves that the holes are in fact his nostrils, not his eyes. But that's not all. You can also notice it in his angry pin. If you take a closer look, you can see part of his eyes for a very split second. I'm really trying to sell you how split of a second we're talking. But that still didn't stop players from creating this monstrosity. Put the hat back on, please! But speaking of Doug, his buddy Buzz isn't safe either. Although, like Poco, he doesn't have a mask or anything to cover his face, we can still see him without his sunglasses and the Bad Random's Buzz skin. Another duo covering part of themselves are Janet and Bonnie, who both wear helmets that cover their heads, of which Bonnie was first seen without her helmet in her trailer, which she forgot to put it on and Janet had to fly in to save her. And thanks to that, we can see that Bonnie has short, light pink hair, which I gotta say, suits her pretty well. However, to see Janet without her helmet, we had to wait a little longer until the official Brawl Stars account posted this image, the spicy hot brawl show, where she had no choice but to take the helmet off, revealing just like her sister, she also has pink hair. And you can also see both of them without their helmets in this image teasing Brawl Talk. But just like these duos, there is one trio that also hides their identities, and it's the Snowtail trio, with Lou being the simplest because under his hat, he just has ice cubes instead of hair. Similarly, Gale doesn't hide much either, as his default animation shows his white hair under his winter cap. And as for Mr. P, there are many theories about what he would look like inside the costume, but nothing has been confirmed so far. Next up, one of the more interesting ones, and my absolute favorite, I apologize to no one. Before we go any further though, there's one thing that I want to clear up. Many people believe that the official Brawl Stars account actually revealed El Primo's face in this parody photo of the Multiverse of Madness, which is not exactly true. At first glance, you might think it just looks like El Primo standing next to Penny, but in reality, the whole poster is essentially themed around alternate realities and mashups, just like the actual show. And if you take a closer look at the clothing, you will notice that it's actually Barbarian with Colt's face, and Penny, that's not her real face either. It's actually the Archer's face on Penny's body. But that wasn't the only time El Primo was caught without his mask. In one Brawl Talk, RT was spying on every brawler, and he went so hard, in fact, that he even caught El Primo taking his mask off. Though, of course, his face was still blurred. However, what many people don't realize is that it was actually a render created by the artist Brandon, who's been working on Brawl Stars animations for quite some time. And he's always had this concept of El Primo without his mask, so it may very well be the same face hiding behind the blur, but who knows? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. But one we do know for sure is B. At first, B seemed to hide her hair, even on the beach. But there have been two instances where that was not the case. Once in the parody of Little Red Riding Hood featuring Navia as B, and the other time was in the parody of Ant-Man and the Wasp, where we can clearly see her full head of hair. Quite the opposite of Gene, because in his default skin, we have never seen him without his turban. However, in his evil Gene skin, he performs a magic trick to lift up his turban, revealing that he's bald! And then there's Jackie, who's never been seen without her helmet, at least not in her default skin. However, in the losing animation of her Ultra Driller Jackie skin, if you blink at just the right moment, you will see her blue hair for just the splittest of seconds, tied up in a ponytail just like we always see poking out the back. Based on this, fans have created renditions of her without a helmet, but sadly nothing official beyond that. One that has been confirmed officially is Draco's face reveal. Just like Grom, when Supercell released Draco's animated trailer, you could actually see his face long before he she entered Star Park. Guess we should really start paying more attention to Supercell's animations, because Ollie's face was also revealed in his animated trailer, where we can see Ollie's still just a regular kid going about his day until he tries to join Star Park but gets rejected. And that's the moment Ollie throws on the beanie and hides his face for good. Now, have you ever wondered what Finks looks like under that cardboard mask? Well, you don't have to anymore, because in another animation, there's a moment where Finks tries to dodge an attack, and just as he's about to, his mask lifts up, which makes Finks start to fall in love. Oh, whoa, buddy, calm down. But regardless, we still couldn't fully see his hair, and because of that, one user took it upon themselves and modified his render to lift up his mask, revealing that he's also bald! Getting back to it, we have Penny and Jessie. While Jessie's design without her iconic cap can be seen on sketches by Paul Chambers, the former Brawl Stars designer, Penny's is a bit more complicated. While she used to hide most of her hair, now it's more visible. But there's still that lingering question, what's under her skull patch? Well, thanks to her base pin, we can clearly see that there's an eye. Oh, whoa! No, it's closed. Whether it's a real eye is unknown, but it's safe to assume it's missing, maybe related to that visible wound. If I were a pet man. Speaking of brawlers with missing eyes, we have Tara. At first glance, you might assume she's a shadow, just like the one she summons, but if you take a closer look at her arms and waist, it's clear that she is in fact a human, or at least part of her is. Though thanks to her Challenger Tara skin, we know her body from the neck down is human. Still, that single visible eye raises some questions. We've never seen her without the ribbons, except in her human version from the championship promotion material, where her hair still covers part of her face, suggesting she's reserved. Kind of similar to Max, as her hair can also only be seen in her human form, confirming she's not actually blonde, as many concepts suggested. Rather has long red hair, which has also been featured in her championship pin. Now, this next face reveal is ultra rare. To find it, you'd actually have to dig into Supercell's official art book, which, by the way, costs $24. $24? That is outrageous. Who in their right mind would actually spend that much? So on page 174, right next to regular Bo's sketch, there's actually a sketch of him without his eagle headgear. Although his hair color isn't shown, you can clearly see his tied back hair and sharp jawline. They should honestly turn this into a skin already. Totally worth the $24. Moving on though, have you ever wondered what Belle would look like without her glasses? Well, players certainly have, because in every single one of her skins, there's always something covering her eyes. So naturally, some curious fans just said screw it and removed it themselves, which looked so bizarre. And lastly, Chester hasn't been spotted without his iconic hat either. Well, kinda. As in the Candyland animation, there's a moment where he bothers Mandy, she fires an attack at him. As he tries to dodge it, his hat lags behind for a few frames, briefly exposing his pink short hair. Beyond that few frames, he's never been seen without the hat though. Unfortunately, out of the 35 masked brawlers, there are still 10 whose faces remain a total mystery. Cordelius, Ash, Mo, Barry, Griff, Carl, Chuck, Ruffs, Sandy, and Mr. P. Of course, Sandy is the closest to a reveal thanks to his Sweet Dream Sandy skin. Even though he still wears a cap, you can see the back of his messy dark hair peeking out. As for the rest, we'll have to keep hoping for their faces to be revealed one day, but for now, they remain to be seen. But if you would like to be shown more of these videos, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to check out the video on screen. You will love it. Thanks for watching, y'all.